All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down a real-world marketing plan that can take pretty much any local business from being, totally invisible online to being the go-to choice in their area. We're talking about how to build predictable, steady growth. So, let's dive in.
So to set the scene, picture this. You're an HVAC contractor out in the Texas Panhandle. The stakes for your business are incredibly high. I mean, when it's blistering hot or freezing cold, your service isn't some luxury. It's an absolute necessity. But that also means your entire business is basically at the mercy of the weather forecast.
And this right here is the huge problem for so many local service businesses, what we call the feast or famine cycle. When there's a heat wave in August, the phone is just ringing off the hook. But come a mild October, it's crickets, total silence. And that kind of wild swing makes it impossible to hire people, to invest in new equipment, or even just plan for the future. You're always just reacting, never actually building.
So how in the world do you break out of that cycle? Well, the very first step, and this might actually surprise you, it isn't about getting more traffic. Nope, it's about making sure you don't lose the traffic you already have. And it all starts with your number one digital asset, your website.
This is what's known as the leaky ducket problem. So many small businesses pour good money into ads to get people to their website, but then the site itself is so bad it actually drives those potential customers away. It's just like paying to fill a bucket that's full of holes. It's frustrating, it's expensive, and it's a total waste of time and money.
And what's really amazing is just how simple the fix can be. Plugging those leaks really just comes down to 3 basic steps. First, your site has to work perfectly on a smartphone. Period. Second, it has to load in a blink, because let's be honest, a customer whose furnace just died has zero patience for a slow website. And third, you have to have super clear calls to action. Think about it. That person is stressed. They don't want to read your company's life story. They need a giant can't-miss click-to-call button, and they need it right now.
Okay, so once the bucket is fixed, then it's time to start filling it up. And that brings us to the next phase, absolutely winning the game of local search. This is all about making sure that when a potential customer in your area searches for what you do, you are the first and the best option they see. And this is why it is so critical. A jaw-dropping 70% of local customers are found in what's called the Google Map Pack. You know what I'm talking about? It's those top 3 local business listings that show up with the little map. The bottom line is, if your business isn't in one of those top 3 spots, you're pretty much invisible to most of your market. Now, getting into that map hack isn't about some secret trick or weird hack. It's really about building authority and trust with Google. And that means consistently beefing up your Google business profile, making sure your business info is exactly the same everywhere online, getting listed in all the key local directories, and, this one is huge, professionally responding to every single review, good or bad.
Let's just quickly define a key term I mentioned, NAP. All it stands for is name, address, and phone number. I know, it sounds super basic, right? But it is unbelievably important. Why? Well, because having that NAP be perfectly consistent across dozens and dozens of websites sends a massive trust signal to search engines. If your info is messy or different from site to site, Google just gets confused and it's way less likely to recommend your business.
Okay, so beyond all the technical stuff, your content has to be just as smart. And as you can see here, this is how you start to solve that whole feast or famine problem. It's like a 2-pronged attack. On one side, you create content that grabs those urgent, my AC is broken emergency calls. But on the other side, you also create content that promotes routine maintenance and tune-ups. And that's what keeps the revenue coming in steady during those slower seasons.
So we fixed the website, and now we're getting found online. The next piece of this whole puzzle is really about the mindset, the modern toolkit of tools and principles that separates marketing that actually works from those frustrating old-school models that just don't. I think most business owners have been burned by the old way, right? You pay some vague monthly retainer, you get a confusing report filled with vanity metrics like clicks or impressions that don't really mean anything. The modern way is totally different. It's all about flat fee pricing and focusing on metrics that actually matter, like how many real qualified leads did we get, and more importantly, what was our cost per lead, or CPL? In other words, how much did we actually pay to make that phone ring? It's all about total transparency.
And this whole philosophy is really summed up by the what you see is what you get. It's a commitment to being crystal clear. You know exactly what you're paying for, you actually understand the results you're getting, and the whole process is built to be efficient. It basically replaces all that confusion with real confidence.
And a big part of that efficiency comes from bridging the tech gap. Let's be real, most business owners are experts at their trade, not marketing tech. They don't have time to write blog posts or manage a dozen online review sites.
So the solution isn't to replace their expertise. It's to supercharge it by using AI as an efficiency multiplier.
And here are some real, concrete examples of what that actually looks like in practice. You could use a tool like Gemini to help draft professional, personalized responses to every single Google review. Or you could use something like Notebook LM to instantly make sense of a really complex website audit. This kind of tech lets a small team deliver results that used to only be possible for huge agencies, and they can do it in a fraction of the time.
Okay, this brings us to our final and honestly the most important phase, because the goal isn't just to get more leads. That's easy. The real goal is to build a sustainable system for actual growth, and that means you have to focus on the quality of those leads. So here's the crucial point. You have to stop chasing ghosts. What a great way to put it. It's the perfect metaphor for all the time you waste on unqualified leads. You know, the tire kickers, the people calling from way outside your service area. Every single minute you spend chasing a ghost is a minute you can't spend helping a real, paying customer.
Tying this all together, you can see this isn't just random guesswork. It's a clear, structured roadmap. The first couple of months are all about stabilization. You fix the website, you build that local search foundation. And then, once that's solid, you shift gears into an aggressive expansion phase, using content and other strategies to really start dominating your regional market.
And that really brings us to the final question every local business owner should ask themselves. Is your marketing a well-oiled machine that's actually built to be found by your perfect customers? Or is it still a chaotic, expensive mess of just chasing ghosts? Because building that predictable system, well, that's the real key to unlocking sustainable, long-term growth.